How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to On the Brink. Today, I'm going to be recapping the Breach 21 Pilots listening party that I was able to attend yesterday. I wanted to get this video out sooner, however, due to editing and everything, it probably won't be out for a couple days after the listening party. I will not be talking about any spoilers. I don't feel that that's appropriate. If you want to avoid any talk about Breach, do not watch this video. But Tyler Joseph wanted to offer some commentary in between the songs at this listening party, which I thought was really cool. So I wanted to kind of go over some of those things and give you a little sneak peek if you're curious about Breach. We have only a couple days left before the album is here. Out officially September 12th, but I believe they'll probably at least drop it the night before. Hopefully they'll do another live stream like they did with Clancy, which was really fun, where they sit and break down the songs. But I don't know, since Tyler did this commentary at the listening party, I wonder if they'll even do that. But we'll see, time will tell. The Clancy listening party was really cool, and that's something I never experienced before last year when they did that. And it was cool to see the growth from last year to this year. How many more people were there at mine? I would say maybe there was probably 20-30 people at the Clancy party. This year, I don't know, it was probably upwards of 50 to 75, maybe even 100 people in that store. It was a lot of people, and we were in line to get our poster and wristbands for quite a while. The album was basically over by the time we got ours. I remember at the Clancy party, it was a pretty quick process getting through the line. Also, the picture discs were very limited and rare, so we were unable to even get a chance to even think about doing that before they were sold out, which is a shame. Without further ado, the album was awesome. I definitely don't feel like hearing it in that setting with a bunch of people and kind of chaotic is the best. As soon as we got in line, there were these people behind us that were just talking, and I was unable to really hear the first track. And then later in the day, it's just hustle and bustle in the store. It was kind of difficult to stay focused, but for the most part, what I heard was amazing, and I was very pleased with the overall presentation of the album. The sound quality was incredible as always. Production quality, I should say, is a better way to explain what I'm trying to say. And for this incredible 13-track album, I just can't wait to hear it again when it's out officially. In a moment here, I'm going to go track by track, listing some of my basic thoughts and some of the commentary that Tyler Joseph had to share. It was really neat that he did this because at the Clancy listening party, they had a brief message from Josh at the beginning. As far as I remember, there was nothing much else other than that, but he was obviously, very grateful to have anyone come to the listening party. Very gracious that there were so many people putting it on as well. So that was cool, but having the full Tyler Joseph kind of listening with us experience was great. And then he even had like a closing message that was awesome. But anyway, track 1, City Walls, there was a lot of Easter eggs, including a huge part that throws back to one of 21 Pilots' most major songs. And then, I don't know, the closing was interesting because it also has a major throwback and reference to one of 21 Pilots' most major songs ever. I won't reveal what they are, but there was a really kind of pleasant, happy vibe through the song. Not really sure if we heard the whole thing or not. I guess I really should have kept a timer on me because the track lengths are out apparently on Spotify. Who knows if that's fully accurate information, but I remember at the Clancy listening party, they did not play the very tail end of Paladin Straight. So, I don't know. Jury's out on that one to see if City Walls was played in its entirety. I've seen on social media people talking about how they feel like it was too short, that they missed something. And for me personally, it did end kind of strangely. You'll probably see what I mean once it comes out. But that being said, I don't know. What I heard was great, but then again, I also had people behind me talking during that song, so it was a little tricky. Great song, though. I think it'll be awesome when the music video comes out. That $1 Million music video should be pretty dang sweet. Really hope it ends the story well and is a nice, satisfying conclusion to the story they've been telling for the last 10 years. It's very exciting, but also terrifying to realize that it's just about around the corner here. Track 2 was Raw Fear. This is a great track, one of the bangers. I'm really excited to hear this one again. It's probably one of my favorite of the new ones. Tyler has a couple of guest vocalists on this track, and I thought it was an extremely clever thing that he did. It's kind of a slow beat that builds to a fast-paced track, and man, I was blown away by it. You will love hearing this song. Track 3 is Drum Show. That was single number 2 that was released along with this album cycle. Kind of here on the tail end of the Clancy album cycle, which is really cool. We're getting like a double album, like everyone was theorizing about. Fun fact, Tyler had an alternate version of Drum Show that he showed Josh, and they both kind of agreed that that version wasn't correct. So Tyler took it overnight, rewrote the song, did it very quickly, brought it back to Josh, played it for him, and Josh was so flabbergasted that it was like perfect. He said, "How did you do that?" And Tyler mentioned that he felt that was one of the greatest compliments Josh has ever given him. They were both very pleased with it, and I personally think it's one of my all-time favorite 21 Pilots songs ever now. I can't stop listening to it. I don't feel like it'll ever get old. It's incredible. There's a lot of raw personal emotion in that one for me. Track 4, Garbage, is a very beautiful piano ballad song. The title is kind of funny, but it's actually a beautiful song. Tyler mentioned that he feels like that song brought him back to his roots, thinking back to No Fun Intended days, 21 Pilots self-titled, lots of piano, lots of just raw thoughts and emotions, and I thought it was a very Tyler Joseph, 21 Pilots song. Of course, they all are, but getting back to the old days, it's great. Track 5, The Contract, absolute banger. Single number 1 on Breach. Absolutely wonderful song. Number 6 was Downstairs, which was a really cool thing. It's a 14-year-old demo that Josh had knocking around on his computer all these years that Tyler made, and they just both kind of, well, I was going to say they both kind of forgot about it, but Josh said he listens to it every so often and kind of pitched it to Tyler as something new to kind of revisit and potentially do on a future album, and so they decided to finally do it. And it was excellent. It's one of the longer tracks. I believe this and City Walls are the longest songs on the album. So they touched it up, they finished it, and they put it on Breach. I think a lot of the tracks on this album really do feel reminiscent of Regional at Best and self-titled 21 Pilots, maybe a little Vessel. Maybe more Vessel, Regional at Best because of Josh's involvement. But Downstairs especially has that feeling. Where Garbage kind of gets back to the piano roots, Downstairs kind of gets into his techno, really eclectic vocalizing, and it was great. Excellent song. Track 7, Robot Voices, was a neat collaboration. So Tyler was listening to a song from a band called Blanket Approval, and they have a song. He didn't mention the song, but in the bridge of that song he was listening to, there was a part that really inspired him to make Robot Voices. So he literally loved the song so much, he reached out to this band, Blanket Approval, and asked them if they would collaborate on a track. So they helped him produce this song, Robot Voices. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if they've ever really done something like that on their proper albums before, because of course Tyler's done many collaborations, but this was really cool that he was able to do that, or rather that he chose to do something like that. I would really like to know what that other song was. I'm going to have to listen to some Blanket Approval now. Track 8 is Center Mass. This is definitely like the lavish of this album. This one is so different and interesting, and I really wish I could have heard the lyrics better. I kind of ended up in a corner of the store where it was hard to hear, and it's very different, very unique. Tyler mentioned that it's his favorite song on the album, and he feels very strongly about that, but he also felt strongly that no one's going to like it on their first listen. So, I don't know, I thought it sounded cool. I don't think he's completely right that everyone's going to not like it on first listen, but I also really had a hard time hearing it. So it'll be interesting to hear it again. Number 9 is Cottonwood. Definitely a slower vibe, very beautiful. This is another song that's written about his grandfather. It wasn't very clear to me, maybe he said and I missed it, but as to which grandfather it was, because he wrote Legend on Trench about one of his grandfathers. Maybe it's the same one that he feels very close and connected to, or perhaps it was his other grandfather, but regardless, cottonwood trees are very special to Tyler, and cottonwood trees have a cottony, I don't know what you'd call it, but sort of foliage on the tree, for lack of a better term, kind of wispy cotton fluffs, that reminds him of his grandfather's white hair that, he's passed away now, but back in the day when his grandfather was alive, always kind of reminded him of cottonwood trees. So that was a beautiful song. I don't really remember much about it other than that. Number 10 was One Way. If Breach has something that really stands out is, of course, Tyler's beautiful vocals. One Way especially has a great showcase of Tyler's vocals. Near the end, there's even a little bit of an interstitial, a little speaking part of Josh talking about the bridge between One Way and Days Lie Dormant. Days Lie Dormant is a little bit of a peppier, happier, upbeat song in comparison to One Way. And, another song of beautiful vocals. You can hear some of it in the little sneak peek snippets that Tyler's put out already. With something that I love about 21 Pilots song is the strong key change. Days Lie Dormant had a really neat, beautiful key change at the end, and definitely not one to miss. Track 12 was Tally, another one of the bangers. Josh made sure it was on the album. It's one that he was especially passionate about. Tyler wasn't really sure about the song, but he agrees with Josh now and loves it, and it's very upbeat. 13 was the last track, Intentions. Really, it was a very brief but beautiful song. Near the end, it was very hard to hear some of the lyrics, especially. But, of course, the vibe of the entire album was wonderful, just very beautiful. Tyler mentioned that, it's one of his ways to reconcile what happens in the City Walls music video, kind of processing the ending and helping us to understand sort of his thoughts and feelings about everything ending. And he even mentioned that if you play Intentions backwards, we might hear something familiar. So I'm very curious to see what on earth he means about that. And then Tyler closed out the listening party mentioning some wonderful things, telling us how much it means to have us come here, Breach. He told us to, of course, take the album, make it ours, and he feels very blessed to have us as fans. So it was really neat. I'm very glad we went. I wasn't sure because, these albums are so personal. 21 Pilots does such a good job at creating a world, creating lore around these songs, having his own personal lore infused from his life into these songs, and then you can take those and make it your own as well. I've done that since the beginning, ever since I fell in love with this wonderful band. I'm using the word wonderful a lot, sorry, but it's just one of the greatest ways to describe 21 Pilots. An absolute delight of an artist, group, band, whatever you want to say, Tyler and Josh. They really gave us another masterpiece here with Breach. Breach is a extremely big theme with this concept they're bringing to us here. Lots of lyrics, I will say, mention breach and how there's a breach of trust, there's a breach of, you'll see. There's a lot of interesting ways that they've broken that down. But, I'm very grateful this album is existing soon, here in a few days, and that they gave us something very special at the end of this beautiful story they've been telling about Dima and about Clancy and about Torchbearer, and I'm very, very excited to see where it ends. I've been wanting to make more 21 Pilots videos. I plan to do so very soon. Please subscribe and stick around to see what else we've got to talk about. I've got a lot of great thoughts and feelings about the previous albums and the music videos, and Tyler and Josh completely amaze me, everything that they do. So thank you for listening today. Hope you enjoy Breach when it comes out, and I'll have my review video about Breach in the fairly near future here. If you like what you heard here and want to hear more about 21 Pilots or other favorite music, please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about Breach and what you're most excited about. Thank you so much. Bye.